Illusions of reality. How deepfake voices are stealing millions. A voicemail. That's all it took. Hey, it's me. Something's wrong with the transfer. Call me back. The voice was unmistakable. Calm, urgent, just like always. And yet, nothing about that message was real. Not the voice, not the request, not even the person. By the time the finance director at Neogenics Holdings hit redial, the money was already gone. $25 million, wired to an international account that would vanish within the hour. She stared at her phone, heart pounding. Something wasn't right, but the voice had been perfect. It was him, her boss. She would have sworn her life on it. So why wasn't he answering now? 2 hours later, the company's entire European division was in lockdown. Email servers were frozen. The boardroom, once filled with a low hum of executives reviewing quarterly earnings, was now filled with lawyers, digital forensic experts, and disbelief. This isn't the future. This is now. And this is how reality began to fall apart. What you're about to hear is a true story. A high-stakes cybercrime operation that blurred the line between truth and illusion. One that began with familiar voice and ended in betrayal, confusion, and irreversible loss. In the next hour, we'll take you deep inside the world of synthetic deception. You'll discover how a group of criminals used deepfake audio and visual manipulation to infiltrate a company's inner circle, bypass layers of corporate security, and disappear without a trace. You'll learn how experts tried to untangle fact from fiction in a case where nothing could be taken at face value. Who were the perpetrators? How did they pull off one of the most psychologically invasive scams in recent cyber history? And could happen again? Let's begin at the edge of the lie. Spring 2024. London. A warm Wednesday afternoon in the glass and steel high-rise that housed Neogenics Holdings, a multinational AI research firm specializing in defense contracting and biotech. Their CEO, Raymond Colburn, had just returned from Brussels. He was supposed to be in meetings all day, off-grid, unreachable. But that afternoon, his voice called the company's chief financial officer directly. First a voicemail, then a follow-up message, this time in a private WhatsApp recording. Transfer the project funds now. We're in talks with NATO. We can't miss this window. Use the overseas account. I'll call you when I'm out. The CFO hesitated, but only for a moment. This was standard practice. They had moved capital this way before for sensitive deals. She ran her authorization protocol, keyed in executive level clearance, and within minutes, $25 million was gone. Only it wasn't NATO. And the CEO never made that call. 2 hours later, the real Raymond Colburn emerged from a secure military session to a flurry of texts and emergency alerts. His company's security director was already at the door. That night, the internal probe began. The voice matched. The cadence, tone, vocal breaks, identical. And yet, Raymond Colburn had never made those calls. He hadn't recorded those messages. But the voice was his. It was impossible. Or at least, it used to be. The forensic specialist would later confirm what the board feared. Someone had used advanced voice cloning software to simulate Colburn's voice, mannerisms, and language style. Not just once, but in multiple messages, each more convincing than the last. The attackers had mapped his digital footprint for months, scouring public appearances, speeches, interviews, feeding every byte into a deep neural engine designed to generate a synthetic voice indistinguishable from the real one. But how had they known when he would be off-grid? How had they timed the attack so perfectly? A deeper investigation revealed something chilling. It started with a compromised email. Months earlier, a junior assistant in the executive wing had clicked on a harmless-looking calendar attachment. Hidden inside, a stealthy backdoor Trojan. No flashy malware. No instant destruction. Just a quiet passenger watching. Over the next 90 days, the malware mapped internal communications, monitored travel schedules, and recorded voice samples from internal calls. They knew everything. Who spoke with whom, who had authority, who had doubts, who followed orders blindly. They were building the illusion, piece by piece. Once inside, the attackers escalated. Social engineering was their next weapon. Fake LinkedIn profiles, spoof calls, AI-generated emails that mirrored real conversations. Slowly, they eroded the barrier between real and fake. No firewall can stop doubt once it takes root in the human mind. Then came the voice. On the surface, the deepfake messages were indistinguishable. But under forensic audio analysis, minor anomalies emerged: subharmonic noise, unnatural breath patterns, the absence of micropauses that define real speech. Still, none of this mattered in the moment. To the human ear, especially one primed to trust, it was flawless. This wasn't just hacking. This was psychological warfare. The attackers had weaponized identity itself. Interpol joined the case weeks later, flagging similarities with a wave of sophisticated fraud incidents across Europe. But this one was unique. The synthetic voice was layered with linguistic cues tailored to the CFO's communication style, as if the system had trained specifically on how she responded to different commands. That's when investigators uncovered something even more disturbing. A secondary system, a language conditioning algorithm, had been deployed to scrape the CFO's own emails, meetings, and video appearances. The fake voice hadn't just spoken like the SO, it had spoken to her the way he would. This wasn't an illusion of reality. This was a simulation of trust. And it worked. As investigators dove deeper, another clue surfaced: a blockchain trail. The funds had passed through at least 6 crypto tumblers, bouncing across countries in digital wallets, each layer dissolving the trail further. But in the 5th relay node, someone made a mistake. A temporary wallet ID matched one previously associated with known cybercrime syndicate, Dark Unity. Dark Unity was believed to be a decentralized network of cyber mercenaries, experts in deception, digital forgery, and psychological profiling. Most believe they were splintered years ago, but this attack bore their signature. The forensic analyst assigned to case, Riyad Das, had seen their work before. This wasn't just about stealing money, she would later tell a closed-door conference. It was about undermining perception. If you can't trust your own eyes and ears, what can you trust? The question echoed far beyond Neogenics. Financial institutions began reviewing their voice verification systems. Tech firms issued emergency advisories about voice cloning vulnerabilities. Lawmakers in Brussels and Washington pushed for emergency regulations on synthetic media. But the damage was already done. Months passed. The money was never recovered. No arrests were made. The suspect vanished like ghosts in code. And yet, the aftershocks continued. A leaked internal document showed that employees across the company began second-guessing every internal message, every meeting request. Paranoia set in. Productivity plummeted. Trust became a casualty. The real cost wasn't just monetary. It was cultural. The idea that reality itself could be fabricated so convincingly, it changed everything. In a secret memo, Neogenics leadership warned, "We now operate in an environment where any communication may be synthetic, verify with multiple sources, assume compromise." Ironically, their greatest innovation, AI voice systems, had become their greatest liability. The boardroom where decisions once flowed with efficiency now required triple confirmations for every action. The illusion of efficiency broken. In the final days of the investigation, a silent war began between those trying to trace the remaining clues and those determined to bury the story. Not everyone wanted the truth exposed. Some board members feared the hit to their reputation more than the crime itself. Was there a cover-up, an inside accomplice, or simply damage control? Riyad submitted her report and promptly left the country. No one's heard from her since. Some say she was discredited. Others say she's working off the grid, tracking deepfake syndicates in Eastern Europe. The truth, like the voice in that message, may never be confirmed. But one thing is certain: the line between real and fake is gone. Now, anyone with the right tools can fabricate reality. Anyone can become you. Your voice, your face, your mannerisms, your presence, all copied, manipulated, repurposed. And the worst part? You may never know until it's too late. So ask yourself this: if your boss called you right now, asking you to wire money, would you obey? Would you hesitate? Or would you trust a voice you've known for years? The deepfake dilemma isn't just a technical threat, it's a human one. It exploits trust, it weaponizes routine, it turns our own perceptions into vulnerabilities. Reality is no longer certainty, it's a choice, and someone else may already be making it for you. If this story left you questioning everything you thought was real, you're not alone. Subscribe to Cybercrime Exposed Files, unmasking the dark side of the digital world for more gripping investigations like this. Hit the like button if this story opened your eyes, and tell us in the comments, could you tell the difference if it was your voice being used against someone else?